All right, so we're going to get into poetry. So, this is my little introduction for you to explain to you why poetry is not the worst thing in the world and kind of what we're going to be getting into in these next weeks. All right, so what are some things that come to mind when you think of poetry? Is the answer something along the lines of, ugh, or it's boring, or what about it's confusing and I just don't like it? If so, you are not alone. Fun fact, did you know, which I think you did, I used to hate poetry and now I love it. Seriously, but how? Well, why do I like poetry? It's a way to express yourself. Not all poetry has to subscribe to the same conventional format, so they don't all have to look the same. All poems don't have to look or sound the same. There's free verse poetry, there's spoken word poetry, there's fun types of poetry that exist. And the subject matter can vary. It doesn't all have to be old men from the 1700s talking about love, right? It can talk about a variety of different things. It's simply making art with your words. Even song lyrics can be and are poetry. So now we're going to play a quick game. This is hip hop or Shakespeare. So I want you to take a guess as to whether or not the following lines were said by either William Shakespeare or a rapper. So the first one is, to destroy the beauty from which one came. The next one is, maybe it's hatred I spew, maybe it's food for the spirit. Men would rather use their broken records than their bare hands. I was not born under a rhyming planet. The most benevolent king communicates through your dreams. And lastly, Socrates' philosophy and hypotheses can't define me. All right, so what do you think those are? Are they hip hop or are they Shakespeare? All right, so maybe you skipped ahead and you're just on the answers page now, but here they are. So, to destroy the beauty from which one came, that's hip hop. That's Jay-Z. Maybe it's hatred I spew, maybe it's food for the spirit. That's hip hop. That's Jay-Z and Eminem. Men would rather use their broken records in their bare hands. That's Shakespeare from Othello. I was not born under a rhyming planet. That's Shakespeare from Much Ado About Nothing. The most benevolent king communicates through your dreams. That's hip hop. That's Wu-Tang Clan. And Socrates' philosophy and hypotheses can't define me. That's hip hop. That's also Wu-Tang Clan. So what does this prove? This shows that poetry is versatile. Poetry doesn't have to sound like everything you've heard before. And poetry has more freedom than you know. Of course, there are certain types of poetry that, has rules and forms, but not everything has to be boring and unenjoyable. If you like music and the lyrics, well, that's poetry. So I want you to think of poems as different forms of expression and not something that causes you to shut down. Not all poems are about unrelatable experiences. The trick is to be open to finding and creating poetry that relates more to you, something that it helps you express yourself, and something that relates to you and your life. There's so much poetry out there, I guarantee you there's something out there that's relatable to you. So all I ask is that you come into this with an open mind and see where it takes you.